Okay. Chat. We'll be ready to go. For some unknown reason, I'm a survivor stuck in my head. Okay, that should be good. I forgot what I was doing last. Oh wait, yeah, I just got up in the new season, I'm pretty sure. So I gotta go and talk to people. Everything's pink. Tangent looks up at the sky and shades her eyes. It's too bright, she complains, and it's too hot, and the nights are cold. Living on the stratosphere meant we never had to experience discomfort. Remind me why we aren't putting our resources into repairing the ship. Oh yeah, after I'm done talking to people, I need to take a break. Oh, I still need to do the thing where I challenge you to eat a worm, or I can't talk to you. And Anemone runs up to you. Hi, Vashika. She huffs, catching her breath. She grins. On the ship, adults are always saying no running. Anemone, no running. But outside, there's so much room. You can run for 5 minutes in one direction, even more after the robo-pawns clear the land of the farm. Tammy, Tammy's dad is the head of expeditions, which means he's out surveying the jungle every day. This morning, you see her crying in the doorway as he leaves. I don't like when he goes out there. She sniffs after he is gone, but he is so brave, and so are you. That's why I like you, Ashika. I wish I could say something, but apparently we don't have high enough stats for any of this. Except for in biology. If someone Oh, okay. Okay, that's actually usable in a conversation. The suns, they're so warm. Cal lifts his face to the sky, his eyes closed. Well, the blue one is just kinda warm, he continues, but the yellow one is like a heater in the sky. The glow lights on this area were bright, but never hot like this. It's so nice. You recently overheard the children learning how to count by studying Popeyes. Popeyes have 1 foot and 2 tail forks and 3 stomachs and 4 eyes. Oh, look at them! And if you see 5 of them together, that's lucky, Cal laughs, finishing the mnemonic, mnemonic with you? Wait, how did they find out that Popeyes have 3 stomachs? I don't want to know. Dad sneezes and wipes his nose with a handkerchief. Phew, this pollen, he says. his voice thick with congestion. Someday I'm gonna get used to this. Your mom is hard at work breaking around for the new fields. As the colony's chief cultivator, she's been preparating for this year for as long as she can remember. Hey Vashika, she says, leaning hard on her tiller and mopping her brow. You need me for something? Is there If you're not going to class, I can always put you to work. I'm pretty sure I listened to all of those before. I'm gonna go talk to Mars, and then I'm gonna rest because my stress is way too high. Um, I have all of these boots and nowhere to spin them yet. Mars says, sighing. See, say the depot store won't be open till next year. How am I supposed to show off how much better and harder working I am than everyone else? I think I go in here to rest, right? Yeah. Ship's quarters are where everyone sleeps, eats, and hangs out. The private bedrooms are small. You share one with your parents, so colonists spend most of their time in the big common area. There's a lounge and a cafeteria and a creek where all the little kids and babies are raised communally. It's in the lounge. Lounge is a long, well lit hall along the outer hull of the ship's midsection. It's stern with tables and cushions and serves as a commuter living room for the tiny one room spaces every family is assigned. You flop down into the lounge's big pile with some of the other kids. Cal has a dazed, peaceful look on his face. The air smells so good on Bertramna. Vert- I, th- I can't remember if I just said Vertram last time or if I said Vertramna, but Vertramna, and so does the and so does the dirt even. You notice his clothes are filthy, but obviously Cal couldn't care less. And ammonia bounces in. Holy crap! There's so much space to run around and play in. Common Chief let's set up an outdoor sports bar court, and it is way huger than the old one on the ship. Kendrick carefully selects one cushion from the pile and perches on it. The school is expanding to some of the empty engineering bays, she tells you, and we're getting a big new lab to do experiments using local resources. There's so much to learn about this planet. Anemone rolls her eyes, but Tange continues. We shouldn't forget our studies just because we're landed, she says primally. Tan's right, school's too important at school. Let's go outside, play, explore the jungle, and space. I have a feeling this one won't let me reduce stress. And this seems like a bad idea for the kids. Um, hmm. Let's see what this one is. Tammy nods in agreement. It's scary out there, she mumbles. I'm going to stay close to her quarters for now. You've had less of the deja vu dreams come to life, viewing this week, and you're starting to think you'd even imagined it. But suddenly you get a prickly sensation on the back of your neck and remember that Mars is about to enter the lounge and tell everyone to look outside. Stare at the door. Mars walks through it as if on cue. My god, everyone, look outside. They're hoisting a flag over a command, she says, clapping her hands excitably. You know what that means, right? She stands tall with her hands on hips. Bertramna is officially humanity's first exocolony ever. You look out at the flag, feeling dizzy and slightly mouth the words along to what she says next. You remember this moment so well. This is history, kids, she exclaims, wrapping an antimony and tangent under each arm. And we were there. What? You want to forget? Uh, I guess the older memory? Discovering or wondering? I don't know how these are gonna affect me. Guess I'll just go this one. You wake from an afternoon nap. You squat, the squat in, uh, you squat into, no, dyslexia, fuck me, into the pink tangled light slanting through the window. You must have fallen asleep in the lounge. Tammy's shadow falls across the rest of uh, the, your nest of pillows. Oh, I'm sorry, Ushika, she says, giggling. I didn't mean to wake you up. It's just so nice outside, with pollen sparkling in the sunlight. I wanted to open the window. You rub your eyes, Rory. You were having the weirdest dream. Since you're awake, you should visit the cafeteria. Antecedent is making a new kind of candy she says is made of cotton. Isn't that weird? I have to go tidy the creche first. Then I'll meet you there. Save some for me, okay? Amy skips off towards the creche, humming to herself. Go get the free candy? Yeah, why not? In the cafeteria, antecedent is carefully hanging out masses of pink candy, puffy and soft like clouds. Oh, Rashika, she says, handing you a wad of some of the candy spun around the end. Here, try some of this. We used to have it on Earth. You pull off a piece and give it a taste. It's so sweet, at first your mouth puckers. I've never tasted anything so sweet and so real. It's not at all like the soy sweets that the kitchen's neoprinter can make. It melts in your mouth, leaving a gritty residue in your tongue. You wait until everyone is gone, but Tammy never shows up. You look down at the cotton candy in your hand. It's wilted a little from the humidity, and it's kind of like her hair. You think pale pink and so soft. You keep some to give her later. You're relaxing in your family quarters after dinner. Your mom had to run off on some kind of council business, so you and your dad are playing a hollow game together. When you're just about to ready to head to bed, your mom returns, and you can tell from the defeated slant on her shoulders that something has gone terribly wrong. Your dad starts to ask her what's happened, but she waves her away and approaches you. She sits down and takes your hand, holding it between her two strong, dirt-crest ones. Rashika, I'm so sorry I have to tell you this. She starts. Her mouth quivers as she swallows, working on her next words. There was an accident this morning in the crash. Is she actually dead? Holy fuck, wait. Is she like actually dead or is she in a coma? Friend Tammy has died. Oh my god, wait, what? You try to understand her words. Tammy's dead? That's not possible. You suddenly remember the cotton candy you were saving to give Tammy, pink and fluffy, just like her hair. You put your hand in your pocket to get it, but what comes out is sticky, lead clump so lead lump of hard goo. You stre- you stare at it, your mind blank. Mom tells you as simply as possible that Tammy was killed by an electrical shock from a broken hollow projector. It was just an accident. You press her for more, for an explanation. Little girl is dead. Someone you'd grown up with. Someone so much like you. She wasn't sick or anything. You just saw her this morning. She was right there. Why? Mom's eyes are sad when she tells you something. When she tells you. Sometimes there's just not a reason why. You aren't used to dealing with death, and you don't know what you're supposed to say or do. You sort of mumble, okay, then get changed and crawl into bed a full hour before your bedtime. You try to fall asleep, but you toss and turn for hours. You eventually drift off to fitful dreams of that small, sticky red clump of cotton candy. Holy fuck. Cal is sitting in your mom's flower garden with his face in his hands. He's clearly been crying all morning and probably all of yesterday too. He and Tammy were really close. Whenever you guys used to play house in the crash, Tammy was always the mom and Cal the daddy. Even though you were just little kids, you kind of always giggled about how obvious they were gonna be together forever, like a princess and a knight. Oh, that's fucked. Oh, whoa. Me too, he sniffles. Looking up at you, you can see how puffy and red his eyes are. Me, really too. Amy always liked these flowers, he mumbles. Sometimes I'd pick some for her. Sometimes I'd pick some for her. He runs his hands over the pretty white flowers. don't don't tell your mom, okay? Tears well up and slowly leak out of his eyes. He doesn't even blink, just stares at the flowers as the tears run down his cheeks. You decide to give him some space. Mars is staring into space, looking somber. She doesn't even notice as you come up beside her and barely reacts when you say hello. I'm thinking about Tammy, she says quietly. She used to sit down the hall there in that spot in the sun every morning. She'd just sit there for hours in the sun, doing nothing, just being happy. You stare down the hill to the spot near the entrance, the quarters. You can imagine her there working on some little craft project, humming to herself. And now she's dead, Morris says, making a face. How's that for fair? Of all of the people, how could it had how come it had to be my friend? You don't have an answer. You never heard Moss call Tammy her friend before, but of course she was. Tammy was everyone's scared little sister, even though she was older than most of you. Mars clicks her tongue. Oh yeah, Administrator Sieg is looking for you. I guess they need someone to do delivery jobs? She waves vaguely at the door behind you, distracted by her thoughts. Can you believe Tammy died? Knights asked morbidly. I heard Chief Engineer Instance? Is his name actually Instance? Okay. Um, tell someone about it. He lowers his voice. Tammy got shocked by a broken hollow projector. The one in the creche with the dancing teddy bear, you remember? When she touched it, she got chunked, chucked all the way across the room. He makes a sailing motion with his hand, and bam, it was dead and dead before she landed. I don't like either of these options. Because this is just morbid. And this is like, I did want to know more details of what happened, but not in that context. Oh, sorry, Dyke surprised, tugging at the sleeves of his oversized jacket. Oh, shut up now, sorry. Um, it's just so weird. Pneumonia is chucking rocks at the stereo, sending metallic clangs ringing through the colony. Stupid planet, she yells. Stupid crush, stupid spaceship. She bends down to pick up another rock, but instead just sobs and braces her hands on her knees. Stupid everything. Why did she have to die? It's not fair. Kids aren't supposed to die. Tang is pacing around the front of engineering. She looks upset. It shouldn't have happened, she says. Tammy's... What? What happened to Tammy? It should have been possible. There was no reason for the hollow projector to break. Professor Hall said it was recently serviced and nothing was wrong with it before it just... She gestured angrily. Just blew up for no reason. Nobody would have wanted to hurt her, so... Why? How? Doesn't add up. Sorry, Sheikah. I want to think about this some more. I hate when I can't find the answer. Dad gives you a hug. Sorry if you're in boo, Sheikah, he says. Things will start to look up again soon. Mom pats you on the shoulder encouragingly. Sorry, Sheikah. Can I? Geoponics. The greenhouse has different biomes inside, growing plants from Earth that might belong in a desert, jungle, or temperate forest. Some are so delicate you have to spray off any germs in the air before you can enter. You sneeze as you walk through the seasonal gardens, spraying up pollen from nearby plants. The air smells thick and harder to breathe. It's harder to breathe here, but the sign says these plants are all harmless. Okay, let me see if I remember how this works. The colony is going to hold a funeral for Tammy. Do you want to attend? If you don't feel up to it, you could skip it and take a month off instead, or you could get back to work. The colonists gather in the recycling room, bringing organics down to be recycled here is one of the chores, but you've only come here for a funeral twice. Both times the colonists have passed away from natural causes during the 20-year-long journey from Earth. This is the first time there's been a funeral on Vertrumna, and the first time for someone you actually knew. The month of the organ the month the mouth of the organics recycler has been polished and and weathered a bee of flowers placed over the opening. Inside you can see a shrouded figure, Timmy's small fragile body. Timmy's dad, Uncle uh Tony, is here, as well as your parents and antecedent and the rest of the council. Cal is here with his mom and her partners, already crying in their arms. The room is packed with people, and the feeling of grief is so thick you can taste it in your mouth. Governor e- Edencott stands before the assembled crowd. There are no words to ease the pain we feel today, she said. She begins solemnly. There is only the sad company of those of us left behind to share the burden of that grief. Tammy was our child. She continues, one of the first humans born in space, and the first to die on an alien planet. In a short life, she ex- em- exemplified the very arc of human accomplishments. Exemplified, okay. Blending hopefully towards life cycle beyond our humble earth. She's the first of us who can truly call Vertrumna home. Her passing was as senseless as it was sudden. Losses like this are impossible to hold within oneself, a painful reminder that life is impossibly precious and fragile, but they also remind us, as always, that as a community, you're capable of great strength. Cod closes the door of the recycler. You hear Uncle Tony sob over the hum of the part parsible the parsible disintegrates, beginning their work. As a community, we remember Tammy. As a community, we return her body to the soil that nourishes us. In this way, Tammy, our child from the stars, will never truly be lost to us. The ceremony is adjourned, but a few people stay back to console Uncle Tony as keeps as he keeps Virgil over the cycler. Cal and Uncle Tony hold each other and weep openly. Your mom stays behind and retrieves Tammy's remains as the head of geoponics. She will be responsible for adding them to the colony's precious supply of brown soil from Earth. Precious supply of brown soil from Earth. Your dad accompanies you out of the cyclone room. Cruz's phone. I want you to know that you don't need to be okay, he says, clasping his warm hands on your shoulder. If you want to take the rest of the month off, everyone's going to understand. You feel better just having said goodbye. Tammy was your friend, but you feel like the best way to deal with losing her is to throw yourself into your schoolwork. Cal gives you a sympathetic smile. Hey, Washika, he says. You will be okay. Tangent shoots you a distracted look. Sorry, she says. I'm not really good at cheering people up. A low throbbing noise comes from the engineering room, which provides power to the colony. Other quarters lead off to the teaching lab and medbay. You know the route to your classroom well, but the rest of this wing is off limits to children. Conferences, the ship's onboard AI beams down at you from nearby halls. Don't forget to study hard, Chica. Let me get water real quick. Okay. I think from what I've been doing so far, what's probably best is to spec into um life sciences, maybe engineering. I'm gonna focus on life sciences. Wait, no. Exact number of points I need. Early dust. Oh, is this like a dry season sort of thing? Washika, Tangent says, approaching you with purpose. We need to discuss my brother. This? Yes, yes, this, she says impatiently. I need you to figure out where he's been disappearing ever since we landed. I barely see him anymore. He doesn't even come home at night sometimes, and I trails off and looks at her feet. Well, I'm not on very good terms with my brother of late, but I, well, people are becoming worried. Get the feeling Tangent is the one who's worried, but she doesn't want to admit it. He probably won't tell you, Tangent says angrily. Even it's Apple, she swears. He won't even talk to me anymore, she sighs. I may have to follow him. I would, but everyone in the lab would know I was gone. No one cares where he goes during the day. Yeah, I've seen him. Oh no, he's up here. Okay. He tells us that his sister wants to know where he's been disappearing off to. His eyes for briefly to your for briefly to yours. Then he stares vaguely off towards the engineering wing, where his sister is reading on her hollow palm between classes. He doesn't say anything. You better tell me, Rose. She doesn't care about me. He says subtly. Tangents. Just worried she'll get in trouble if I don't come home one day. He scowls and picks at the hem of his sweater. He doesn't care about anything with her schoolwork. Hmm. This looks down at a patch of bobo bub sprouting from the crack in the wall. He squirms. I don't need to tell you, he says quietly. Swing me alone. How? Hmm. I'm actually very concerned because I have a feeling from the way he was talking about outside the walls that he's going outside the walls. Okay, it's the same stuff from before. I guess you can get updates at like different points in time about what's going on in different sections. Dad is reading a book, an actual book, dog-eared pages and everything. The shade of the greenhouse. He blinks up at you when your shadow falls over the pages. Oh hey, little gooseberry, he laughs. Do you need something? Cal looks up at the sky, shading his eyes. I wonder when it's gonna rain again, he says. The heat doesn't bother me none, but after a while the plants are gonna get all toasted. Or toasty. Ah, I have all these kudos and oh yeah, it's the same things before. Hmm. I can't do it. I guess do biology again. This week in biology class, you're studying sugar bugs. Native species look like purple marshmallows about the size of your fist, all puffy and squishy and kind of cute. They don't move or do much, but if you tickle them, exude a edible syrup from a hole on top of their bodies. And now, Professor Hall, you're going to dissect one. Plus 5 royalty, gained memory dissecting the sugar bug. You've given a thankfully already deceased sugar bug to work on. The moment your scalpel slices it open, a horrid smell assaults you, sweet like rotting fruit. Ick. See Tangent trying not to gag. Ooh, oh, okay, wait, this is gonna be harder. So obviously the story challenges have 3 rounds instead of one. After extra After every round, you'll keep the cards you didn't play and unlock an extra slot to play them in. Losing isn't always a bad thing in story challenges. Hmm. Okay. Nice. Actually starting to really like the card thing. It's a nice puzzle. You carefully select your sugar bug. Carefully select your sugar bug into 6 distinct organs. You take a photo with your hollow palm and carefully fill in labels for all the parts. That's pretty good, Tian says, peeking at your work. These things are slipperier than I was expecting. Parts of mine are still moving. Great job, class. Never going to leave them overnight, says Professor Hall. Next morning, your class is in for a surprise. The sugar bugs are alive again, and there are more of them. The teacher explains that their DNA is malleable, that almost any part of the sugar bug can turn into any other part if it needs to. The resulting sugar bugs are smaller but eventually grow into full-sized ones. Oh, it's like a more advanced version, like when you cut a worm in half and they become 2 worms. Retrumna biology is weird. Yeah, but it's time for Viltrumna Leia. Edencott and the Council have called a festival to celebrate life here on the planet Viltrumna. Everyone gathers in the colony square to hear Governor Edencott's speech. In Earth's history, Edencott begins and then clears a throat and waits for everyone to write it down. Ahem. In Earth's history, Viltrumna was known as the god of seasons, change, gardens, and fruit. It's no coincidence that our forebears of the Viltrumna project chose to take on such a auspicious name in hopes of seeding future bountiful seasons of humanity. We will continue this tradition of Viltrumnala, a midsummer festival to celebrate our Viltrumna, this lush planet upon which we find ourselves today. Everyone cheers and applauds. The members of the council all all get up on stage one at a time and give their own short speeches. Governor Edencott announces each one. What? Oh. Governor Edencott's command. Chief Minister C. Command. Security Chief Reed Grayson. Vet Grayson. Chief Engineer, Instance. Yeah, his name's actually Instance. Engineering. Chief Cultivator, Floa, Geoponics. Chief Steward, Antincy Quarters. Chief Surveyor, Mela. Their name is Melatonin? Expeditions. When it's your mother Floa's turn, she announces that tonight we'll be eating some of the very first crops grown from the Viltrumna soil. Your eyes go to the feast table. Abroad the stratosphere, it would have been mostly soy-based food from the neoprinters, spiced up with the freshest fruit and vegetables that could be grown in the small growing bays. This year, the Earth's plants look even less robust than usual, but they're supplemented by some of Viltrumna's plants. I've come to appreciate the juicy Watano pots and slabs of edible fungi. Endicott takes the stage after everyone in the council has said their piece. What is a festival uh, without festivities? She asks. Professor Hall and Security Chief Vet has organized a three-part competition for the kids. Good luck, children. Bot wrestling, talent show, space fair, or space for science fair. Tangent competes, of course, entering her study of the ship's hydro recycling system. It was previously used to make urine drinkable, but she offers that it could now be turned into new uses. Despite how many times she says the word pee, it's still boring, but she puts a lot of effort into it. Your turn to go next. The judges are all very interested in what you're bringing to the complete against tangent. Ooh, this is another story one. Okay. Hmm. Oh, wait. Defeated. Only 22 out of skill changes. Hinge when she accepts her prize with grace, having expected nothing less. Your baking soda volcano was much less impressive than you imagined. It kind of fizzes, and you don't explain it very well. It's pretty clear your dad helped. Maybe next year. After the festivities are over, everyone takes time off for much needed break. During the fierce heat of the dust, a few days rest is exactly what you need. Feel refreshed. Have you gone outside the colony yet? Ting Tinge asked you. I hear all sorts of terrible things. Regardless, we're not allowed. Excuse me. S- Stray from the gates unless we're on an expedition. Tinge rolls her eyes. Not that it stops my brother. Anyone holds the stomach as you approach. Does the air here make you feel hungry all the time? Or is it just me? She wonders. I feel like I could eat a whole one and hold one of the mushroom trees. Just she minds shoving a she mimics shoving a shoving a whole giant mushroom in her mouth. Cal is scratching a stick listlessly in the dirt, seemingly uninterested in your presence until you get to his face. Oh, hey, Washika, he says, mustering up a hollow smile. Sorry, I don't really feel like playing today. It's the first day of the glorious world's agricultural solar conveyance. Oh boy. Good morning, Rishika. Looks like you're working for your old lady. I hope you don't expect me to go easy on you just because you're my daughter. She walks you around the geoponics wing and points out where everything is. Your job is to move sod, compost plants, garden waste, and equipment and move equipment from one place to another. Get comfortable with this, she says, pushing a squeaky old-fashioned wheelbarrow towards you. Now, any questions before we start moving this dirt? Don't we have mechanics for this? Where do I move it to? From over there, she points to a dirt pile to there. She points to an identical pile 10 meters away. She sees you're confused. We had some very precious soil from Earth on the ship, full of the nutrients and bugs and bacteria our plants need to grow, but it was washed, she sighs, in an accident. Now we have to make more from scratch using Viltrumnus soil. This is part of the process. Yeah, why not use hydroponics? On the ship, we were most of our. On the ship, we grew most of our plants with their ro- with their roots in the water, but it's true. It's more height. With the roots in the water and its truest more hygienic way, your mom replies. She brushes a insect off her arm, which lets out a loud squeak of rejection. But hydroponic systems use up too much energy. Here we have to grow as much as we can the old fashioned way. That's my girl, your mom says, slapping you on the back. You stumble a little. Your arms start to ache after the first half hour of work, but you keep going. By the end of the month, you feel utterly drained and exhausted, and good somehow. You feel like your muscles are glowing already. Hmm. Meat dust. You're looking for cow in the garden when you nearly trip over someone else, one of the younger kids, and blindfolded? Hey, they exclaim, ripping the blindfold off their face, throwing it to the ground. It's Circeus, one of Anamon's brothers. He glares at you. It was almost done. Cal jogs over and grabs Circeus in a friendly headlock, ruffling his messy red hair. Dude, you're so gross. Circeus stamps his feet and complains that you got in his way. It's not her fault, Cal says. She didn't know we were playing a game. Give me a sec, I want to teach her how to play. Cal turns to you as Circeus leaves. Sorry, Rashika, he says sheepishly. I was teaching Circeus a new game, but he's more like Anemone than I thought. Real competitive, you know. He stoops to pick up the blindfold, brushing off the dirt. I've been trying to come up with different kinds of games other than sports ball, he says. No winner or loser. I just want to have fun with my friends. Cal looks at you hopefully. Want to learn how to play? Cal's smile looks like it's gonna stretch right off his face. Radical, he shouts, jumping up and down with excitement. Okay, so first put on this blindfold. The blindfold is a little scratchy and smells like dirt. You can feel Cal's big hands on your shoulder. I'm gonna spin you around, and when I let go, you gotta listen to my instructions? We're gonna walk all the way to the cafeteria, okay? You nod and you can't see Cal's grin, but you hear it in his voice as he spins you around and counts to 10. First, Cal says, you gotta walk for 10 steps. Yep. Take 10 steps straight forward, holding your hands out of balance. The rocky dirt between the garden beds crunches under your feet. Yeah, Cal says. Now turn to your right and take 15 steps till you get to the door. You turn to the right and walk forward, counting out 15 steps. When you stop, uh, Cal laughs. You can hear his footsteps crunching behind you. I forgot how much bigger I am than you. You're like 2 more steps away. You take 2 more steps until the outstretched hand lands on a warm. Until your outstretched hand lands on a warm metal door. Success. Awesome, Cow says. You can't help but smile. This is fun. Now hit the door button on the right and keep walking forward until I say stop. Go really slowly, okay? You open the door. You open the door and start to walk towards the path. Start the walk forward. The path slopes downwards and your feet slip a little bit. Even though you've moved as slowly as you can, the old dirt is nothing like the metal floors of the stratospheric. It's turbo rocky here, Cal says, and you can feel uneasiness prickle up the back of your arms. Just keep going forward slowly. You try to do as you're told, but after a few steps, your feet knock against a sprawling root and you fall forward, catching yourself on your hands and knees. Ouch. Tear off the blindfold, a sudden rush of tears flooding your eyes. Cal behind you in an instant, kneeling on the rocks. You okay? He asks. You look down at yourself, your knees and hands pretty scraped up. Your pride is bruised. But other than that, you're okay. Cal helps you stand. Sorry, Yoshika. I'll be a better helper next time. He asks if you want to get some Wantando juice at the cafeteria instead. You spend the rest of your afternoon brainstorming more games where there are no winners or losers. Hmm. That's like the sports ball thing. That's rest. That's the company. This is the education game. You ask a question in class and are embarrassed when everyone laughs. You guess it's something you were supposed to know. Thought Professor Hall said there was no dumb questions. Hmm. Wait, so. White dust. Oh, really wet. Oh, so there's like a wet entrance. I see. You perk. Native botany. Unlock extrabotany research in geophonics. Hmm. Tangent is watching a construction crew build a scaffolding for the new engineering Havon. They're using mush wood, which is so light that one person can easily lift a 10-meter long pole and stack it into place. She points towards them. Human beings are so great, don't you think? Before we landed, this was all just dirty jungle. Now it's civilization. I've been learning about adaptability in writing and biology class. Books say it's what sets us apart from animals. Like, we don't need fur because we can make warmer clothes and it's not too hot. And if it's not too hot, we can make air conditioning. And when it's too hot, we can make air conditioning instead. Also, we can sweat. Ian nods vigorously. Yes, also that. I read that not many animals sweat, except humans, and it makes us naturally good in hot places. It's like we're made to be explorers. Together, you watch as the foreman puts the blueprints for the scaffolding onto the floating screen onto the floating screen of her hologram. You raise it to the scaffolding to check the progress. I'd like to see an alien do that, Ken says primely. Humans look defenseless and weak, but we're the strongest species in the galaxy. Who else can literally bend reality to their will? Not a stupid alien, that's for sure. She puts one finger on her chin. I'm only proof that humanity is greater than our biology, she says. All of us are, really, with our genetic enhancements. We're the next step in humanity's evolution from great ape to connected super species. It's pouring rain and everyone's trying to dry under the grass roofs. Parabus, everyone except Dias. Off in distance over the wall near the sports ball field. He's definitely sulking. You tell Security Chief that you saw Dias up to no. I didn't mean it like that. Behind the garrison. Too distracted trying to put buckets under various leaks in the roof to pay you much attention. Thank you, Ashiko. I'll check it out later, he says, waving you off. There's a danger to the colony. One of the lookouts will catch it. Not so sure you know, Dias. He's very good at hiding when he doesn't want to be found. Need to get more. How do you get bravery? You're looking a little worn out, my little firefly. Your dad greets you looking concerned. You know, despite what your mother might say, there is a such thing as too much work. Maybe some R&R over in the lounge would help recharge their solar cells. What do you say? You guys just need a hug. Your dad throws his arms wide. Well, get in there, tiger butter. Tiger butter? After a long hug, you do feel a little better. Your dad gives incredible hugs. Hey kiddo, your dad says, looking up from his work desk, where he is dissecting a huge bell-sized flower. Can you hand me the scepter? Really get my I've really got my hands in things here. You hand him the tool which he uses to wedge open some kind of weird stroma, like opening inside the bell. Gooey purple nectar oozes out of the pores of the desk. Whoa, he exclaims. I thought I drained this little beauty. Can you get a towel, I guess? You hand him, you help him mop up the flower juice. Yuck, it's sticky and smells of rotting vegetables. When you're done, he looks at you with pride. You know, I've been thinking of getting one of you kids to help me out with researching native plants, he says. You think you might be able to break off some time to help your old man in the lab? I know you've been studying biology, he adds. It's not as glamorous as genetech research, with instance, but it is important. He grins. Let me talk to your mom about it tonight before you go telling her. She's not a fan of alien plants, but you know, if we're up if it were up to her, we'd fill these greenhouses with earth plants and nothing else. But there's got to be more on this planet that we can cultivate. If you find any cool plants while you're exploring, bring them here and we can take a look at them. Can I make immediately go back and choose that? Yeah. Your dad introduces you to the little lab they have set up in one of the greenhouses. It's incredible, he says, gesturing all around you. We're surrounded by alien flora, and we know practically nothing about it. What's edible, what's medicine, what we can make, what we make fibers with, or build with, or use in ways we haven't thought of yet. He beams at you. You and me were gonna find out, my little potato. Your dad directs you to a research bin, and here you'll be working. The research is buried under samples and beakers and weird looking alien sprouts. More than just a sample table, the analytics bench is covered with buttons and little holes you could put things into. There's no on switch. Yep, you look everywhere. Stick something in a hole. Don't touch anything. Press the buttons at random. Go ahead and mess around. Your dad encourages you. Don't break anything. Mash all of the table's buttons until yo kiddo. It's congruence. The friendly ship computer beams at you from her own hollow screen set into the bench. Of course, she's here. She's the guardian of all knowledge in the colony after all. Wonder who she got yo from. Dad laughs. Don't tell anyone, but congruence is the real brains of the operation, he confesses. Though it's like though it's not like a secret. She'll make sure we don't do anything super dangerous, which means you and I focus on experiments. If you follow the rules and stick to what you already know, you won't learn anything new. So don't be afraid to try stuff. Okay. What the fuck is that? Having a terrifying, familiar dream. Monster crashing through the walls, unfathomably large. Every part of it wriggling and moving and searching for something. It tramples through the colony as you watch helplessly. Time shifts to the wreckage of your home. You're picking through it, looking for something, tears streaking down your dust-covered face as you lift pieces of debris searching. You wake up shouting no, but your voice is drowned out by a deafening rumble from the skies outside. The bedroom window is covered in water. It's pouring down from the clouds. You guess this must be rain, but you've never experienced it before. There's a bright flash from outside, and another crack and rumble. Thunder. Must be a thunderstorm. It's still the early hours of the morning. You've already almost forgotten your bad dream, but you're too unsettled to go back to sleep yet. The rain beats down on the roof of the quarters, joining now and then with the great pearls of thunder like the footsteps of an angry beast. Hmm. That's what I want to pick, but I don't know if it's a good idea. Thunderstorm. Though, why not? It's surprisingly warm outside, and and the water feels nice hitting your head. Everything smells fresh and damp and wonderful. And the dusty, packed grounds has turned into squishy mud between your toes. Don't go too far from the door to your quarters, but it's exciting being outside in the dark, watching dramatic streaks of lightning arc down from the hills behind the colony. I'm going to do a cycle between those two in the biology lab. It's absolutely impossible to get the dirt out of under your nails. You try and try, but it's almost like you're stained. Gross. I want to think about what's under there. It wet. It's the late wet now. The hell? Found a hefty red exo egg. Just randomly? What the fuck does that do? Hold this to your head now, my darling, you hear as you enter the garden with Cal. It'll help with the swelling. Cal is sitting with his mother, Auntie Tara? Tara? Oh my gosh, I just figured out how to use chat. I've been here the whole time. No worries, no worries. It is a pain in the ass at first. Well, I did not expect them to just go into one of your friends dying at that age so quickly. That genuinely, like, flashbanged me with sorrow. How's eyes are a little puffy. He rubs them and sniffles as you approach. Hello, Sheikah. Tiara greets you with a kind smile. Don't worry. Recalcitrance? Just. That's his full. Recalcitrance. Was coming, I was like, oh god. Yeah, I figured, like, you would know ahead of time and just be like, oh my god, it's gonna happen. Just took a tumble off of something he shouldn't have been climbing. Mom, Cal complains. It wasn't that bad. I'm okay. Cal reassures. I just bonked my head a little. Mom always knows how to make it better, he says with a boyish smile. Even if I'm old enough to take care of myself. My brave boy, Tara says. Tara says, stroking his hair. Thanks for humoring me. She looks over to you. Don't let him show off for you, Ishika. Ground-based feats of bravery only for the rest of the day. Now whines and wrinkles his nose. Tara laps and laps and wraps him in a big, in a wraps him in a big motherly hug. rocking him back and forth. Despite his protests, Cal's eyes closed in happiness. He really loves his mom. Yeah, okay, I need to. You organize a raid of the kitchen pantry for snacks. They want to be free. You must liberate them. The days have been getting shorter, with only the yellow sun barely shining, barely skinning the horizon. One morning you wake in the darkness and have to check your holopalm to know what time it is. You see a hollow stream from Mars. Good morning to all my pals, if you can even call it morning. We've named it Glow Season because, like everything, it's crazy glowing out there in the dark. I am staying the heck inside for the next month. What's the point in even going out if you can't see anything? It's going to be a long, boring month. Oh, it looks cool out there. You peek out the window. The wormhole is the biggest you've ever seen it. Like a massive fiery ring in the sky. The planet must be very close to it now. And out in the jungle, something new is taking place. The plants are flowering, growing iridescent blooms, and everything is full of life. There are strange new sounds, long hooting calls, and gurgling roars. After Mars' message is a notice from the council warning everyone to stay safe inside. Tammy's dad and the others' survey has been called back and gates closed for the month. There's a tension in the air, as if everyone is waiting for something. Oh, I was wondering what that period is. Oshiko, your mom stops you as you walk by. What are you doing out of your quarters? It isn't safe out here. She nods with grudging approval. Fair enough, she replies. Stay close to the stratosphere, got it? We don't know what's out there this time of year. As you walk away and are just out of earshot, you hear her mumble, Stars, it is beautiful though. It is. It's so fucking pretty. It looks like an enchanted forest. Gaze is staring off at the wilderness outside the gates. Feels different, he mumbles. Don't know how, just different. You ask him what he means, but he's just shaking his head and stuffs his hand back in his pocket. Does this interest you? Ah, thank you, Dent says. Knight says, clearly unsure about how to react. I'll find something to do with it. Anemonia is running around the sports court, touching her hand to the ground at each corner. 18, she counts. 19. Then she reaches 20, she collapses into the grass and checks her hollow palm. I'm training, she exclaims. My big glaucoma says I have to get my legs climatized to the planet if I'm gonna be team captain like him. Ah, you could give it to anyone that was outside in this period. super goal. Oh shit. It's daytime when the emergency sirens start up. Well, what passes for day. It's still nearly pitch black except for an eerie green twilight glow on the horizon. You look towards the gates. They're open. Wait, they shouldn't be open. The alert blares out of every speaker in the colony. It's the same one you used for hull breaches and fires, and in space, it meant you were supposed to go into the nearest emergency shaft, put on a spacesuit. With a Trumna, it means go to an assembly point and wait for instruction. The closest assembly point in the children's crash, but you, the closest assembly point in the children's crash, but for the opposite direction, you hear shouting and loud pounding noise. Gunfire as the colony is under attack. You find Dis in the crash and join him in hiding under the arts and crafts table. The lights are dim. You scared? He asked quietly. Dice shrugs. I thought I would be, but I'm not, he says. I'm not scared of stuff like this. You can't help but glare at the hollow projector on the wall, the one that electrocuted your classmate Tammy earlier this year. The glowing bear looms over the room, and for a moment looks more like a monster than a toy. Grew up here. Feels weird to be hiding here, like you're just little kids again. You hear more gunfire and yelling, but within half an hour, they play the all clear noise. Chief Surveyor Tony comes in to let you know it's all safe. Now at now as the lights come back on, you glance at the hologram teddy bear again. Tony was Tammy's dad. How can he be sure it's safe? How can he be sure anything's safe? You relieved when your parents arrived with the ashen faced cow. They won't talk about what happened at Geoponics. After 2 weeks of darkness with the blue sky barely skimming the horizon, begins to move higher in the sky, and daytime returns. The council admits they don't know how the gates were opened or how the creature got in. Some of the attacking creatures were once thought to be docile. Others were species nobody had seen before. It was like something had driven them to assault the colony. At least nobody was killed this time. Childhood is fleeting. The game will end when you reach 20. So, you should focus on a few skills to improve and friends to spend time with. Use the skills and friends button at the top left of the screen to track them. Good luck. These are the people I have friendship with. The persuasion, creativity, reasoning, organizing, biology, toughness. Tangent is standing still with her face held up to the sky, letting blue snowflakes land on her cheeks. They melt almost instantly. She doesn't move as you approach. After a minute, she winces and rubs her eyes. It stings, she says, because it's made of acid. Acid snow? Hinge nods. Professor Hall says it isn't harmful, and it's an important part of the natural system here. It freezes at 12 degrees Celsius and turns into tiny crystals that are so heavy they fall from the clouds. You can see them under a microscope. She sticks her tongue out and lets some flakes fall onto it. It tastes like kind of sour but sweet, she observes, fascinating. Hinge pulls a similar jar out of her coat. We knew what it's made of, but her understanding is incomplete, she says, and places the jar on an outcropping box. The big mushroom shape changed in shape and color before the snow began to fall. I wonder if there's some kind of signal that precedes the changing of the season. What happens if I expose samples collected in dust season to the snow from the quiet season? A small, excited smile creeps across Hinge's face. There's so much to learn about this planet, and I can't wait. Okay, the last thing I did was this. Okay. You join Cal at the practically vacant pile of compost. He's trying to use his hoverboard as a wheelbarrow, carefully pushing compost off it into the pile. Don't you just love this? Cal asks excitedly. The hoverboard, yeah, it's cool. Sure? I guess it's okay. And food scraps. No, he laughs. I mean, just this. He waves his arm, dirt encrusted up the elbows to take in the entire greenhouse. We get to help plant stuff and watch it grow, even if we're just moving dirt around. Still helping. Oh, well, he considers. I like digging holes in the dirt, because it's so full of surprises down there. I found a worm. Wait, let me see if I can find her again. He sticks his thumb into the compost and rummages around, his tongue sticking out of his mouth. She got away, he says after a minute. She was real shiny like a rainbow. Wait, he says. I just thought of a thing I like better. He shoves his splayed hand, getting dirt under his fingernails. He laughs. I don't know why, but it's the best. As you get older, challenges can have conditions. The challenge suit social, mental, or physical determines what conditions can appear and which deaths will work best. Try to collect social yellow cards if you want to win battles for social skill, empathy, persuasion, creativity, bravery. Oh, so social, this one's social, this one's intelligence, and this one's toughness, I think. So much has happened in the last month since the monster attacked during the grow. The idea of this planet as a peaceful utopia has been shadowed. Security squads are training new members and taking close watch on the gates now. They're reinforcing the walls and even installing a few robotic turrets. In class, you have drills on what to do if the colony is attacked again. In all of the excitement, you forget today was your birthday. Your parents haven't forgotten. They wake you up early with enthusiastic shouts of surprise. The Trumna year is only a little longer than a year on Earth, so you've taken up its calendar for birthdays. Yours is in the second month of quiet. Spark snow drifts slowly past your porthole window as you snuggle with your dad. And your mom climbs up to and sits on the edge of your bed. Dad pulls out a bowl of fruit from behind his back with a flourish, like a magic trick. At least you think it's fruit, but those are boba fruit? Your dad grins. The foreigners, not foreigners, foragers, have been picking these just outside the wall. They just look, they might look funny, but they're tasty. Try one. We take a curious bite. The pulp is soft and tastes a bit like lemon, or only more blue. I bet you can't wait to join the surveyors out there, your dad says wistfully. You know what else you find? Who knows what else you find? Shika is not allowed outside the gates, your mom interrupts, her voice snaps. It's too dangerous for kids. Well, I know, but eventually, your dad says. Your mom cuts him off again. But not now, mom replies. It's not since the attack. Not with everything we know is out there. Parents exchange a heavy look. The surveyors knew there was something dangerous out there we hadn't encountered yet, Mom admits after a guilty silence. But we didn't know it would attack the colony. We thought it was closed. The gates and we thought if we closed the gates and stayed inside, it wouldn't see us as a threat. We didn't want to scare anyone, your dad adds. It was just a precaution. Even still, your mom says, it's clear that everyone should know how to defend themselves if it happens again. To be clear, this includes knowing when to run away, your dad adds. Security Chief Let's offers self defense lessons at the garrison. You know, even for kids, if you're interested, you should drop in sometime. Ron gives you a stern look, and I've heard stories of kids sneaking outside the walls, she says grimly. If I catch you doing that, I'm going to put a chip in your ear. You laugh. What a joke. Your mom doesn't laugh. What, me never? Oh, probably. It's probably not that dangerous. I'll do what I want. Hmm. Yeah, you better never, your mom retorts, crossing her arms. Oh, there we go. I will be back in a second. I'm going to run to the bathroom. Okay, I have returned. Um, I have this handy dandy little water jug next to my desk. Okay. Wait, why is that? Oh. Hmm. Pink shrugs. You should probably just keep it. I don't even know what I'd do with it. When you insist she keeps it, she shrugs again. Sure, maybe I'll find a use for it. You're supposed to eat it. Eh, excuse me. You're pulling weeds from the garden beds when you see a cow scurry past you, moving with a purpose. He doesn't even stop to say hello before he disappears into the barn. You slip into the barn behind the cow. He's so absorbed in whatever's in the broken storage box that he doesn't even hear you. You can do it, he whispers. Come on, go, go, go. You creep forward, but the barn door creaks closed behind you, and cow jumps. Ushika, he says, moving between you and the box. What do you need? It's in the box. Cow clenches his fist. Nothing, it's nothing. What the cow is going to say next is interrupted by a chirping noise from the box. Cow grasps and whirls around, and you both rush forward to look. Inside the box is a pink caterpillar-like creature, about the length of your arm. Damn, it's big. Peeking up at you with big, multifaceted eyes. Its mouth parts way at you and makes a clicking, chirping noise. It hatched, cow says. Hey, little baby, welcome to the world. What is it? Don't know, cow says. I looked it up on the at looked it up on the surveyor's archives, but nobody's found anything like it before. It's true you have no idea what this creature is. You about this thing? Yeah, it showed up in one of the first shipments of mushwood, he says, rubbing his little nose. Just curled up into a little cocoon. It looked like a dried up leaf, but warm. I didn't want to just throw it away in case whatever was inside was still living. And no one was using this busted up storage box, so. Cow puts the small creature on his shoulder. What are you, little buddy? Cow asks. You look like a big old cow to pill, but cuter. Creature yawns, showing off circular rows of tiny, even teeth. He nestles against Cow's neck as he scratches under its chin. Maybe we can call you Dilly Pillar. He touches one of the 6 white, kept feet. Sucks the Dilly Pillar. I'm telling you, I guess I would. If I was in this, I guess I would voice concern, but I wouldn't immediately just be like, I'm telling. Hmm. Cal pouts. Everything could be dangerous on this planet, though. Look at her. She's harmless. He pulls a leaf off of a potted plant and offers it to Socks. She greedily chomps it all up. See? She's a plant eater. Plant eaters are good guys like us. I have to hide her, Cal says, looking around. Think she'll be okay if I keep her in the broken storage box? He places Socks gently in the box and closes the lid. Go back to sleep with her, Buggy Wuggy. Acorn, sleep tight. Hopefully it doesn't turn into like Mothra. Hmm. Zero. Curse words. Stress. There we go. Wait quiet. Cal is leaning on the garden fence, looking out at the colony. That attack was awful, he says quietly. I did something I'm not proud of, and people still got hurt. He sniffles and rubs his face. All the adults tell me that it's okay, but because I had to do it, that I was brave and I protect the colony, but I didn't want to hurt anything, not even a monster. Oh, I have crazy high biology now. Hmm, who's this? You tell him that uh, the time Tang bought a skunk bug brought a skunk bug from Snow tell and tell in biology. Show and tell. Ah, dyslexia. Okay. And it got scared and made the worst smelling, grossest stink you ever smelled. And everyone thought Tang had farted. Then Professor Hall had to clear out the whole room, and took weeks to get the smell out of the beanbags. And it was so gross. But also kind of neat how such a tiny bug could make a whole room of kids run away. Cal laughs. I remember that, Sheikah, except the way I heard it, it wasn't Tang, it was you. See if anyone else has a little thing on their head, and if they don't, I am immediately going to rest. Because I have high stress. It's nice to take some time off to chill after all of the stress of school and work. Not to mention the mental toll of just living on this unpredictable planet. Looks like you're not the only one who needs some downtime. Some of the other kids are relaxing in the lounge. Hooked on your hollow palm. Okay, but you do stink, you hear Mars defend herself. It's not my fault that you can't tell. Maybe your nose stopped working, but the rest of us can smell it. And she waves her hands in front of her nose and makes a P-U gesture, then turns to you. He smells awful, right, Sheikah? You make a They show up sniffing the air on desk as he stands uncomfortably still. His clothes are a little dirty, but he smells fine to you. Kind of faintly boyish, like leaves and grass. Tell this to Mars. Leaves are gross. Ew, yes, she says, nodding. That's exactly what I meant. If you think that smells good, you're both hopeless. I guess. Get that one so I can get a new one. Early pollen. Okay, Dad has something to say. Met your dad adjusting a watering bot in your mom's flower garden. He's having a sneezing fit. His eye is running in red. You're alarmed. You've never seen him look sick before. People were hardly ever ill in the stratospheric, except sometimes when the zero G rooms make you queasy. Not to worry, my little beanstalk, he says nastily. I'll be fine. It's just the pollen making my head a little stuffy. He wipes his nose with a handkerchief and looks around everywhere. Everywhere you turn, the air is soapy and tinged milk. With milk, tinged with pink from all the flowering pollen. On Earth, your dad tells you we used to call this hay fever. Even though it had nothing to do with hay, your mom cuts in, giving a large bundle of flowers. Native flowers must seem to be in full bloom this time of year. She burrows her nose deep in them, and they smell fantastic. Dad smiles kindly and agrees that they sure are beautiful. Then he blows his nose loudly. They do smell good, and they look harmless. Your dad's eyes look so sad, but maybe that's just allergies. Hey, Rashika, I know the last weeks have been very hard for you. This might be a good time to relax and stick around the quarter's wing. I think I'd go here for the call. Yeah, defense training. You attend your first session of security chief led self-defense classes. It's a small class, mostly security officers and other adults. You and Anemone are the only kids. She gives you a wink and usually thumbs up as you listen to that rant about how everyone in the colony needs to learn self-defense. You could be walking along thinking you're safe within the walls and a flying animal could swoop out of the sky, then what would you do? But chops the air with his hand. I'll tell you what you're going to do. You're going to chop the beast right in the throat. Hiya! I'm wondering, how do I actually build these? I think part of it's from humanities. Part of it might be from here, the post office. Oh, he points at the assembly class, only if you learn what I'm about to teach you. And the only way to learn is by doing. Wants the volunteer for demonstration. Oh my god. Okay, I guess wait does come from here. The security chief doesn't stare at you. You or so you pretend doesn't scare you, or so you pretend. What is like the biggest adult you know, and he's so intense. Step forward and let nods as he crouches down. Okay, he says, I'm a manticore striking you through the forest. What do you do? Is there actually a creature called a manticore in this universe? Stalking you through the forest. What do I do? I probably cannot run in sight. Mm, yeah, I definitely would be able to outrun it. Try to kick Rat as he approaches you. He's easily grabs your foot and flips you onto the mat. Ouch. Wrong. Use your brain, Ushika. The first thing you do is call for help. Then you run. Rat grabs your forearm and hauls you off the ground. Only engage with the enemy when there's no other alternative. No one, so I was thinking a bit too ahead. No one walks away from a fight without getting hurt. So the first rule of self-defense is to not put yourself in situations where you need to fight. Anemone still thinks you're cool for acting tough. She gives you a thumbs up. Once she burns situational awareness, we'll move on to hand-to-hand self-defense, drawing a variety of martial, drawing from a variety of martial arts. Only when I'm confident that you're ready will we advance to weapons. There aren't that many weapons in the colony, mostly stun gloves and batons, with a few plasma rifles. Or is that phase rifles? You hope you don't have to use them, but it'll be good to know how. Hmm. That's the one animals come from. Midpollen. Now, did you do that recently? I think so. The colony uses some recycled spaceship parts to build new structures, but most new construction is made of mushwood, a fungal lumber harvested from the mushrooms that tower over the forest in the wet season. It's strong, tall, and versatile like bamboo was back on Earth. But the downside of harvesting fungus and wet is that the logs need to be dried out for almost 2 months before they can be used in construction. Maybe if you study the mushwood, you can figure out a way to shorten the drying time. You need to get your hands on some mushwood to study a few pieces. Okay, so that's something they do during the wet season. Hmm. There we go. You finish breakfast in the common area when Marzipan struts in. Look at you eating cereal, she says, turning her nose up at you. I bet you don't even know what day today is. Your birthday? Question mark. No, you dummy, she exclaimed, swatting your shoulder. My birthday's the first month of wet is first month of wet season. You better remember that. Today, she announces to the room, is Saint Valentine's Day. Knights and Cow wander over to hear more. Back on Earth, Mars explains, it was a day when everyone had to give their best friend a gift, especially sweets. And then you put the sweets under your pillow, and it makes you dream about who you're going to marry. And then the decorations of hearts and arrows and pigs? Now laughs pigs. We don't even have pigs here. Before Mars can answer, Diet snorts, "This is dumb, Marzipan. Just made it up for to get free candy." He rolls his eyes and walks away. As he leaves, Mars shouts at his back, "Well, nobody was going to pick you anyways. You stink." Mars bats her eyes jokingly. "Oh, Lily, who could it be?" she asks playfully. "I'm going to tell all the kids about it," Mars says, "so you go around and find your best friend and give them a gift." She points a finger at you. "Make sure you do it by the end of the day, or it doesn't count. And if too many people want to be my friend," she adds, "I'll hold tryouts for the position. It's only fair." She tosses her hair over her shoulder and laughs. Wait, pollen? Kel was standing on top of a bluff, carefully pouring a bucket of water down dirt on one side. He's covered in mud. "Hey, check out my mud slide," he exclaims. He grabs a piece of sheet metal and slides down the dirt pile, like he's riding a surfboard. Mud goes everywhere. He jogs back up and hands you a sheet of metal. "You try it now?" "Okay." You make it down without failing, but get mud splattered all over your legs. It's pretty fun though, like a hoverboard, but crunchier. He replies, scuffling his toe in the dirt. "I guess so. I lost my old best friend, so yeah, okay. Want to try the mud slide again?" You spend another hour on the mud slide until both of you are thoroughly covered from head to toe. You couldn't be happier. Okay, so I think, yeah. You bring in supplies to the med bay when you see something unusual. Andric curled up on a bench, her head pillowed on a rolled up lab coat. She's fast asleep. You stop and stare. You've never seen Tange sleeping. He's always so busy. You're surprised she's even has time to nap. Turn to leave her in peace when you bump into Anemone. Warn tangent argument? Whoa, Anemone says. She hardly ever sleeps like just a couple hours a night. Is she sick or something? Look back at Tangent snoozing peacefully. So she's jealous of her genetic enhancement. Anemone says, rubbing at one of the scales. "I'm so jealous of her genetic enhancement, rubbing at one of the scales sprouting on her jawline. She hardly needs to sleep at all. She's probably stayed up all night studying for uh, this morning's history test. Shh, let her sleep." And just Hollow Palm's beams soft or warm. He sits up and stretches, looking totally refreshed and alert. She sees you watching her and looks annoyed. Just a power nap, she says. No reason to gawk. Hmm, it is early dust. Dust is such a dry, hot season. Both suns are high in the sky, baking the usually lush for Trumna jungle. If there's a breeze, it's warm and, you guessed it, dusty. Your parents are up every day before dawn, which comes far too early for your liking. You're usually gone by the time you wake up and home after your sleep. They're usually gone by the time you wake up and home after your sleep. So you have to visit them at work if you want to see them. Good morning, Gooseberry, your dad greets you cheerfully. Have you come to see the harvest? Your mom and I are gathering crops from actual Vetrona dirt this week. He shows you around the rows of corn and beans from Earth. They all look a little yellow and saggy, but that's what you'd expect. But your dad enthusiastically points out the vegetables ready to harvest. Don't forget, he tells you, the Trumna Festival is coming up. There will there will be a talent show and a science fair. I'm sure you're eager to participate, Shika. So I did that, I did that. Wait. Boom, boom, boom. And then some shuffling dirt. You're helping your mom repair the garden fence when you see Cow slip away into the barn carrying a blanket. You excuse yourself and follow him. Does he still have that weird pet bug? He does, in fact, still have that weird pet bug. Cal looks up at you and smiles, cradling Socks in his arms and rocking her back and forth. The little nubs on her butt seem like they're getting longer, and she must be growing. I made her a little bed in that trunk over there, he says. She mostly just likes to be curled up in the dark. She sleeps a lot. Socks chirps and Cow sits on the floor, letting her curl up in her lap. I've been coming in every morning and staying late every day so she can play in the sun, he explains. That's when she's most active, but her favorite thing is laying in my lap for belly rubs. He tickles her soft belly. Isn't that right, Socks? Who's a good pillow? You are. Socks trills in delight. What do you feed her, Cow asks. I collect a bunch of leaves for her here. Take one. Oh, do you want to feed her? You kneel beside them and take one of the leaves. Sucks Trimble, from Cow's lap into your cupped hands and gingerly holds the leaf between your two front paws and gingerly holds the leaf between her two front paws. She's like a tiny dinosaur caterpillar. Oh, ouch. Socks snips at your finger. Her teeth are really sharp. Start to cry, play it cool. You pretend like it doesn't hurt, but it super does hurt. You can barely keep yourself from crying as Socks munches happily at the rest of the leaf. When she's done, Cal puts her gently back in the box, then notices your hand, gasps, Chica, you're hurt. Cal looks over your finger which is bleeding sluggishly from the shower puncture wound. I went first aid for my mom, he says. Let's just wrap it and tell people you banged on a door, okay? Bites his lip. If people think she's dangerous, they'll take her away. She's not dangerous. It was just an accident. Cal bruises his hand. Cal bruises his hand over the brushes his hand over the loose dirt and straw on the barn floor. My mom says the aliens here are dangerous, he mutters. I asked, like, in theory, if I found an alien, could I keep it as a pet? But she said, I can't, even if it's a nice alien, because disease and stuff. Besides, Socks isn't sick, he insists. And she doesn't mean to hurt anyone. The other animals probably don't either. Hmm. It's time once more for Viltrumnava. The mood of the colony has been muted this year, ever since the attack during Glow. Though everything is still cheerfully decorated, and the feast table is still heavy with food, mostly soy rations, this Viltrumna just feels different in a way you can't describe. Colonists gather in the square for Governor Edencott's speech. What a year Viltrumna has given us. It's a Viltrumna? Not Viltrumna. They're called Viltrum. The governor begins in her weedy voice. I stand before you so proud of everything the colony has accomplished in such a short time. I have always hoped that we could bring with us the best facets of humanity, cooperation, resilience, and creativity. And the event of this year has given me no reason to. And the events of this year has given me no reason to doubt my convictions. These creatures were unexpected, but I urge everyone to consider what it means for life here. If Viltrumna can sustain megafauna, then that means conditions are good for us as well. Our friends in Genopolics are already working on logistics of domesticating the wildlife. Your dad, as second cultivator, stands and gives a sheepish wave to the crowd. There is a smattering of applause. Lars elbows you. Hey, she whispers. Did you hear? My dad says Eating Cot's gonna announce the depot open to the public. You shoot her a questioning look and she rolls her eyes. You know, shopping. Somewhere to spend all of the kudos. We've been saving up. There's gonna be candy and toys and makeup and nice smelling soap. Not the boring kind in the communal showers. You know the concept of shopping? They did it in the holovids from Earth, especially the ones Mars likes, but never actually done it. The colony provides everything you need, but would be nice to buy something as a treat. Dad gives, uh, my dad gives me allowance, Mars says, shooting you a pity. It's too bad your parents make you work for yours. You and Mars tune back into the speeches just as Eating Caught, as predicted, announces the opening of the general store at the depot. Mars gives you a knowing look as she claps. Sip of water. Eating Hot gestures for the council members to stand. Finally, the council remains unchanged from last year. We are, as always, proud to serve you and the colony as your government. The music starts up as Governor Eatingcott finishes. Thank you all for your hand in work and your perseverance this year, she says over the ruckus. Tonight we build the future. Crowd disappears and sets up the annual Viltrumna Games. Just like last year, there's a talent show, a science fair, and a bot wrestling with an obstacle course. When you participated. Science. Okay. Hmm. Almost. So close that I feel like I could definitely do it. Oh wait. No, that's less than before. That's 17. Oh, that worked. In secret, we've been working on a social experiment about delaying gratification. You've been sneakily studying the adults, taking notes about their snacking habits and their mood. You found that Sieg and Dr. Instance rarely eat sweets, but Utopia and Sweeten do all the time. You coordinate this with their attention span when you see them tackle frustrating problems. You know problems you can control and repeat, like if a child backtalks them. Judges are impressed with your methodology. Instance perhaps a little belligerently. They award you first prize. After festivities are over, everyone takes time off for a much-needed break. Mars organizes a water fight. It takes over the whole colony, even the adults. It brightens up everyone's spirit, even in the thick of the dust heat. You end up on top of the western mall with this, launching water-filled puff shrooms down, or on a unsuspecting anemone in the sports bar court below. The walls seem like a neat place to hang out and relax, much quieter than the lounge if you're working for some solitude. If you're looking for some solitude. Now, I'm like, how's the general fly for delivery spot? View the notice board. View the supply depot. Oh, there's cards. What does purple mean? Five. This animal hunting fish. These ones that are ones that aren't correlated to this? I think this seems interesting. Then let's view the notice board. Colony food shortfall 100% low. Colony security rating 100% red. Current council? Okay. Now, I did that last. Yeah, I think the way I'm going to do it is here, here, and then 2 times over there. Purple ones are equipable and they apply to all cards when you have them equipped. Oh! Items. Gear. Some down below. When you keep adding to your deck as you age, you can forget cards by spending time relaxing. You have limited number of gear slots based on your organization and other skills. Click gear to equip and unequip it. Collectibles that you find while exploring may be given as gifts to friends or used as challenges for one use bonuses. So I guess equip this. That's a +1 to challenge. This is a +1 to all flushes, which I seem to get a lot, so that should be good. And this shows my friend map, everyone, and everyone I know in general. Oh, there's so many more characters. It goes dark if they've died. Oh, fence training. You run into Cal and Anemone on the hill behind the garrison at a small construction site. They seem to be flowing logs where there are a bunch of them laying on the bottom of the hill. It's a cabertos, Anemone shouts to you, then grunts with the effect of lifting a 6-meter long mush tree pole. She throws it like a javelin down the hill and sprints after it. My best record, she shouts and a piece tries a piece of caution ties a piece of caution tape to the end of the pole. Next turn, Cow says, pointing to a neatly stacked pile of construction poles behind you. From the looks of the nearby construction, you're probably destined to be a new lookout tower someday. The thickest, heaviest one. Choose an average one. Sheikah has made a fine pole selection, Cow narrates in a haughty voice, and has lifted it onto her shoulder. Next, she will approach the spinning line and begin her run, tossing the um, caber before she reaches the flowing line. Okay, okay. Um, that's how's that become one? Oh, okay. Um, okay. If they're different colors, it doesn't do any. Oh wait, I put them in the wrong order. So it was not do anything for different colors. Okay. Hmm. Yeah, that's not bad. Yeah, you just gotta get 11 here. Um, it's already enough. Might as well stack onto it though. The pole sails down the hill past all of the other poles, coming to rest sticking out of the ground. Whoa, you beat my distance, Anemone says when she jogs back. Players can't beat each other in Mushwood Toss, Cow corrects her. They can only beat their own high scores. But you get two, no free bonus points if it sticks out of the ground like that. You play for the rest of the afternoon, adding rules and variations as you go. You don't stop until the entire stack of poles are jumbled at the bottom of the hill and decorate festively with caution tape. So wonder you got away with this. also have to sweep, which is fucked up, but have fun playing, yeah. Yes, yeah, go to bed, okay, good sleep. I will also be going to bed in probably like 30 minutes. But yes, I will enjoy the rest of my playing. Ooh, frozen right into it. Oh, that was very quick. Okay, nothing in particular going on. Shoveling dirt. Okay. You catch Cal at the gate to the gardens. He's carrying a big bucket of blocks. Hi, Rashike, he exclaims. Oh, I'm supposed to tell you where there's a new park near Geoponics now, Cal says. We can run around all we want. Nobody will stop say we're trampling the fields. You should come play there sometime. Walk, relax in the park in Geoponics. Nice. So this is what increases the scores. Okay. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I can get away with doing this instead to increase those scores. Because I'm already doing two other things that increase this. Today's assignment is an easy one, House says, with a yawn. Because I was up late repairing Congress's subterminal, and I could use a nap, I'd like to write an essay on what Vertrumna's colony means to you. An essay on what Vertrumna astrology means to you. You write about all of your buds and fun things you do together. When Hall wakes from his nap, he asks a few students to read their essays to the class. Mars is annoyed that you hardly mention her. Well, you aren't really friends, so. Hmm. Made it wet. Oh, pistol? I guess I should be looking for like random items as well. Part of self-defense is training your body, so that it can be ready for any situation. The security chief has you running laps jumping through tires, climbing walls, and sprinting back and forth. He has this inverted anti-gravity map that makes your limbs feel super heavy when you do jumping jacks on it. And then do them again in normal gravity. It feels like you could jump straight up into through the wormhole. It's exhausting, but not that different than sports bra training. Fitness muscles. Or getting your butt. Okay. There's a commotion in the square. An expedition vehicle has driven through the gates and is idling in the middle of the square. Unusual sight. People come down to from command to investigate. Utopia gets out of the Utopia gets out of the vehicle and shrugs over to Edincott. After a brief conversation, you see Edincott gesture for people to unload the vehicle and clear the area. You stay out of the way and see what they're unloading. It's a body. Chief Tony's body. Oh, Tammy's dad. Someone quickly covers him with a sheet, but not before the image has torn open of his torn open body is sealing into your memory. After he died, it was violent and bloody. Your stomach cramp and nausea. What happened? Tights asks, coming over to crouch around the corner with you. You share the Uncle Tony die, and he stares at the sheet-covered body intensely, as if he could see through it. They say how? Never tell us the truth anyway. Nobody would tell the kids what's really happening. Did something eat him? Did he get lost or fall off a cliff? Do they even know? Dites nods, frowning. They don't want us to know about the monsters and other worse stuff. They want us to think everything is fine, but it's not. This planet isn't nice as they say it is. Isn't as nice as they say it is. He shakes his head. They hate that they can't control us. You and Dites watch the adults carry Uncle Tony's body away. From the way he's practically vibrating, you can tell Dites wants to ask more questions about what happened. After a few awkward minutes, he sneaks away without saying anything, probably to go take a look at the body. At least Tammy isn't around to see this, you think. At least they're together now, wherever people go when they die. Watch Utopia bend over to get a hug from Edincott, wiping her eyes as she finally cries. Edincott has never been the most comforting presence in your life, but it seems to help. Utopia will probably be next chief surveyor. At 24, she's the youngest council member. She was only a toddler when the stratosphere left Earth. Apparently, a sharp eye and of her bright flying skills are the best in the expedition. Wit to grow. Anemone holds her palms up to you excitedly. Rashika, look. Palms are covered in a collection of scraps and blue flaky scales. It's getting tougher every day. Want to train together? On your way to the sports ball pitch, Anemone shares the story about her time with her brother Combe once spiked the ball so hard that it broke Utopia's nose, back when she used to play sports ball too. She describes it in gory detail, but doesn't go easy. But doesn't go. Don't go easy on me, she exclaims. That's why we have medbay, right? Plus, I might get a cool scar. She thumbs a bruise scale on her jaw right under her ear. Ooh, the crystal. Bites pokes glowing uh, bubble bud with his toe. The seed head snaps free and drifts up into the dark of the glow, suddenly breaking into a little umescent specks. Make a wish, he says. Does this interest you? Oh, wait. Mom gives you a stern look. Be careful, she warns you. Now that we know for a fact that it's safe out there here in Grow, I won't have you venturing close to the walls. Stay where I can see you, close to the ship. My stress will probably go up, so I will. Oh wait, if there's the option to act in geoponics now. Me and Cal walk through the park, a special place set aside for growing ornamental plants from Earth. It was grown from a precious seed bank preserved for over 20 years upon the stratospheric before your mother started planting them here on Viltrumna. Almost nothing here is grown for food, though many of them are technically edible. It's so green here, Cal says, stopping to smell fist-sized red flowers with velvety petals. Whoa, they smell so sweet. Mom brought these flower seeds from Earth and somehow found time to cultivate them, even though there wasn't so much work to be done on the farm. Just goes to show that there's a lot about your mom that you still don't know. Dale breathes deep, funny smile on his face. It really is. This is one of my favorite places in the whole colony. You can really feel the love in every plant. One pretty white flower in particular is flourishing here. The Astrana, your mother's favorite, it seems to be growing faster than even native plants do, covering the paths and buffs the tiny white stars. You practically have to push clumps of it aside to in some places to make sure you don't crush any. Good thing it's so beautiful. It's been it's been a quiet glow, but the grim, surreal darkness of the season reminds you of last year's violence. As the month wears on, you overhear arguments at dinner, adults worrying that an attack is still coming, and others who think the first one was a fluke. Surveyors mention seeing a new track in the forest, but are shushed so people don't panic. The gates are closed. The drill emergency procedures uh, filing soundly from the classroom of the creche to hide under tables, awaiting the sirens to call the all clear. You drill and prepare and worry, but nothing happens. Then, just as glow is starting to wane, the toxic purple spill of the wormhole fades as the sun is about to rise past the horizon again. The sirens start. You're reading a hollow reading a hollow novel in bed when you hear them, followed by the stomp of boots down the hall outside the quarters, where it flashes on your hollow palm. Shelter in the creche. This is not a drill. You get another message from your dad. Me and your mom are going to stay in the greenhouse. We're safe. Just follow Auntie Annie to the creche and wait for us, okay? Don't worry, we're way more prepared than we were last year. Love you, stay safe. You could go to the creche where you belong. You could follow the security guards to see what's happening at the gates. You heard for the you head for the children's creche. Even with just the emergency lights on, your feet could never forget the way. When you get there, you spot Tangent and Dites huddled together on a beanbag chair. Dites is stone faced as usual, and he's holding Tangent in his arms. You can't remember the last time you saw them this close. Tangent must be really scared. You take a seat on the beanbag chair and wait. Other children filter into the room after you. Anemone, her little brother, Nugget, and you don't see him, so Cal must be sheltering his parents in the greenhouse. You hope they're okay. It's so dumb. They won't let us outside, Dites grumbles. We live here too. We deserve to know what's going on. They're treating us like little kids. I'm not even scared. Search his face for signs that he's lying. Sound cool, but his bad mood is sincere. Tangent smacks his arm. Don't be ridiculous, she snaps. There's dangerous animals out there. Dice just shrugs. Nothing scares him. You don't hear much from outside. After a while, the sirens sound all clear and you all file back into the quarters. Your mom and dad join you right away, give you a big hug. Thank you for following their instructions. When things have calmed down, you overhear your parents talking. I'm not going to be the first con graduate vet, but all of his first to graduate vet, all of his defense improvements were exactly what we needed. Mom grumbles. Ah, he's going to be insufferable at the next council meeting. Dad pats her hand. Credit where credit's due, Florabella, he says, and she smiles despite herself. It could be worse. Mom nods, and they both sit in silence before your dad speaks again. Poor Hal, he sighs. What a way to go. Your parents startle. Hey, Pumpkinhead, Dad says. Yeah, there's gonna be an announcement in a few hours after everyone's had a chance to calm down. Didn't make it. What happened? Don't worry about it, your mom replies, shooting your dad a look to keep him from talking. It's old stuff, okay? You guys won't be able to go into the engineering wing for a little bit, not until it's decontaminated. You grow up quietly to think Professor Hall can't just die, he can't just be gone. He's your teacher. An engineering wing is where you take classes. You can't imagine something bad happening in such a safe space. You fall asleep thinking for sure that there's been a mistake. Okay, I thought I had a negative. I mean, I wouldn't care, but like, it'd be funny. Okay, that is where I'm going to end Dream for the night. Save game, nerd. Okay. So let me choose someone to read out too. Channel. Who do I know he's 5 currently? There's another person playing this game. I could just raid them. Works for me. See ya.
Okay. Let's actually really quick see if there's any new options with Dice now. You tell Dice that his sister Tangent wants to know where he's been disappearing off to. His eyes flit briefly to yours, then he stares vaguely off towards the engineering wing